What's going on, guys? This is another NBA 2K13 2K Friday style for Yeousch Sports, and what you're looking at is the market. Right now, as of today, we have played 2 or 3 games per team in the NBA season. The actual NBA has an effect on the market in MyTEAM. I've been waiting for this since last week. You guys' response to the "Is my team broken?" video varied wildly, and that's exactly what I wanted. You guys are always great with getting at me in the comments. I expect this video to be no different. Honestly, all I'm going to be doing today is checking into the market. Who's gone up, who's gone down, who's doing great, who isn't doing great. What I am going to start doing is giving you a few players to look at in each video that are going to be great, and a few players that are on the way down. What you've got to do is pick the guys out. Maybe Tim Duncan at the start of the year was a gold player, but his value was lower than it is now. You can look at it right now, 20,445. So that answers my first question, and some people's first question: can their value go above 20,000 VC? The answer is yes. That's scary for guys that go on big hot streaks that are already good, but the trick is finding those Jeremy Lin type players. So, you know, last year, if my team was around and you had Jeremy Lin, you would have been rolling in VC. You could have gotten Jeremy Lin on the cheap. Maybe he was a bronze player at one time, like, say, Matt Bonner here, who is not doing so hot for the Spurs right now. You can get him for on the cheap. You can get him for 125 VC, and he's good at threes. His rating seems to still be just fine, so it's looking like their ratings stay the same. Their VC is different, so that's going to be interesting. Anyway, though, point being, if you can pick up a Matt Bonner and maybe he goes on a hot streak, pick him up for cheap, then sell him for whatever he gets when he's going on a hot streak. So it really requires knowledge of the NBA. I'm going to give some of that to you right now. I'm just going to run through a few players and I'll stop on them and talk about them as I see them here. There were a few that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to do this by position here. Obviously, Rondo's still on top. Derrick Rose hasn't changed because he's been hurt. Deron Williams hasn't really played much. Westbrook went down. A lot of people have been asking about point guards. My favorite, obviously being a Thunder fan, Russell Westbrook. You can't go wrong. Maybe wait for him to have a few bad games. It will happen. And, it shows their next game and everything. I really like how this is going so far. Lowry, hey, he's going to just keep going up, so you might want to get him now. I know that these are gold players, and you guys are probably not going to save all your VC for that. Irving's going to stay up all year. Lawson. Tony Parker might be a sell high candidate. I don't think he's going to stay right there all the time. So that's basically your point guards there that are working on it. I'm going to try and get some of these guys that are in the silver range as well, and just run through this real quick for you. Not too much on the gameplay today, just because it's been a crazy week. But Dragic's doing well. There's multiple guys here that you can pick up on the cheap. So running through the rest of them, though, really there were a few people that I wanted to highlight. I am willing to bet that in here somewhere you're going to run into, Kevin Martin. His value, I am guessing, would go down. That's just my gut feeling. Once the trade is reflected and everything, if it's reflected, that might be an interesting one to watch out for. I'm guessing his value goes down, but his skills stay the same as far as in-game. His outside shooting is great. So he had 15 points off the bench tonight. I'm doing this Thursday night / Friday morning for the Thunder, and I don't see his value staying there the whole season. If he blows up, then, well, we'll see. Just moving right along. James Harden is another one. He had 37 points and 12 assists in his debut for the Rockets. His value obviously went way through the roof. I don't know if he can sustain that or not. You might consider picking him up now and seeing if his value goes way up. You just have to be opportunistic is the bottom line. So those are some guys to think about. Jamal Crawford also, 30 points almost in that game that he had just a couple days ago, I believe. Off the bench, dropped 30, and Chris Paul was talking about just, well, I guess I can sit back on the bench and watch them score. Crawford work on his outside shot, practice shooting for the first time in his career, and that's really an interesting pick, an interesting thought there. Definitely give him a look. Moving on to the small forwards, I'm going to go into some of these lower guys here because I know you want to get guys on the cheap. Harrison Barnes is one that, his rating is great in the game, and he's down to 325 now. If you don't pick him up, I mean, he's like something like a 73, 74 in the game. That's a guy to jump on. Mike Miller's a cheap 3-point shooter. Definitely give him a look. Novak is something that I see a lot in my team. You definitely want to look at that. There was a couple other ones here. Just going to cycle through. Hayward is another guy. His value's gone down, but I see him actually having a really good season in Utah. So definitely give Gordon Hayward a look. And he has that outside shooting ability. Has a little bit of an all-around game. His IQ's good, as you can see there. So give him a look. Right now he's trending downward, but as I said, the market's going to start going crazy in a few games. It really hasn't right now, so that's what I wanted to sort of make this video for, to just give you guys an opportunity to maybe pounce on some of these values and level out the playing field in my team. So I mentioned that last week. It turned into the video this week. Definitely wanted to do that for you. That's all the small forwards right there. Aminu is actually playing really well for the Hornets in Eric Gordon's absence, and Gordon doesn't really know when he's going to come back, so that's something to consider. Pau Gasol's value is going down, even though he had a great time so far. I see a lot of guys' value going down at the power forward position here. Don't think that, I think over 20,000 is pretty ridiculous for a player, so I don't know if I'd overpay per se for those kind of guys. Millsap's another one to keep your eye on at the power forward position, because if he gets the minutes, he'll do great. But they have a very power forward and center heavy, front line heavy rotation in Jazz land. If Millsap gets in the doghouse, you want to pay attention to your ESPN, pay attention to your Jazz.com, and see how that goes. Let's move on to the silver players, at least here. Hickson's one to keep your eye on as well. Has had a strong start to the season, but I don't see that lasting. And, of course, Taj Gibson just signed his extension. I think I mispronounced his name, Taj. I can never get it right. Bottom line is I do enjoy watching him play. And he is freshly signed, just got his extension with the Bulls, and had 4 blocks in his first game after that. So definitely interesting there. A lot of guys at the silver spot going up. Fareed isn't getting much playing time. You may want to pick him up on the cheap. I'm considering it myself. Really enjoy watching the Manimal play, and once he gets his minutes later in the season, I think that's going to be happening, which leads me into the center spot, and I wanted to talk about a guy that I believe is here in the silver. And Hibbert. Hibbert is he's one of my favorites. I believe he's a top 5 center, and I believe he's really, really good in this game. Yeah, 14,000 seems like a lot, but dude is 7'2", size matters in this game. Pick him up now, you won't regret it. The other guy that I wanted to discuss at the center position is maybe turning gold. We'll see. No, JaVale McGee. Okay, I got him, I believe, for 14,000 on my other MyTEAM, and his value is going down right now because he's not getting any minutes. He will get minutes. At the end of last year against the Lakers in the playoffs, he did quite well, had a lot of points, a lot of rebounds, a lot of blocks. He's just growing slowly in George Karl's system in his first full season in a Nuggets uniform. I see that happening. I see him doing really well. Okay, so now that we're done with the analysis and everything, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Just wanted to do a quick video on this, give you guys some analysis before the season really started blowing up. You can kind of see how the market works, you can see how things go, and really jump on opportunities. I like the way that they set up this market watch. I will continue to play MyTEAM. Don't get worried about that last video that I put out about is MyTEAM broken. I wanted to give you guys a good discussion topic. It started some good discussion, made me think about some things differently. And, it's going to be really interesting seeing how MyTEAM plays out this year. Get at us in the comments. As always, we really appreciate your support. And, of course, Yeousch, damn it.